Broncos country, what is going on? It is your friendly neighborhood horsepower hour. Apologies, we're a little tardy today, but we got the full gang here. We got Jeremy from Broncos Unbridled, Mark from Marky Sports, and of course, Kodiak from Kodiak Broncos podcast. Be sure to smash that like, get in the comments, get in the chat, and we got a lot to talk about. We had a huge victory this past week. 33-30 over the Buffalo Bills. Guys, Jeremy, I guess that was Mike or whatever earlier today. But yeah, the Bills ended up firing Sean McDermott. We all thought there was a good possibility he'd get fired, unlike the Bills fans. And he's fired. So let's go. Let's get it, guys. But I guess first off, Kodiak, you were at the game. Take us through it, man. How was it?
Man, how do I describe this? It's like you die and come back to life 10 times over. That's the way it's been watching the Broncos. I've gotten the privilege of watching them in person 5 times this year already, and it'll be 6 on Sunday. I will be at the AFC Championship as well. But man, it's just electric. And for those of you who are watching live, for those of you who are watching on the replay, make sure you hit a like, hit wherever you're watching, and subscribe to all the channels linked in the description. But also, I do apologize because my voice does not sound very good because, even in overtime, I was like, all right, maybe I need to give my voice a rest. But then I was thinking to myself, do you want the AFC Championship here in Denver or not? So I continued to scream along with 76,000 people. And now we got to do the same for Drake May. Now we got to make Drake May's life miserable when they enter the huddle.
Yes. Yeah, drink up all the tea that you need, man, because we're going to need you again on Sunday. But yeah, let's go through, maybe give away, I don't know, takeaways of the game, or just like we go through a few rounds of shout outs. I think that would be kind of fun. Some different things that we want to talk about with this 33-30 victory. Then we'll get along to the New England Patriots preview. But Mark, why don't you kick us off, man, and we can work our way around.
We're just doing like shout outs on players?
Yeah, just anything. Yeah.
Anything? Yeah. Oh man, there's so much. The list is so long of just all the players of the game. I mean, I want to start off by a special shout out to Marvin Mims in this one. Because it's like every single time you just need him to make a play. And it's unfortunate that it takes injuries to like force them to get him into the offense. But he always makes plays, man. I mean, think about it from last year in the Cincinnati game and the big play that he made to bring that to overtime. And the kick return that he had earlier in the year that opened that game up. He just makes plays, and that's all he did yesterday or on Saturday, I guess. And yeah, he was unbelievable, man, to be able to step in for Pat Bryant, who got hurt. Pat Bryant was on pace for 60 catches at one point. I don't know if you guys
yeah, for real.
He got hurt. He was cooking, and then Troy Franklin pulls a hammy, and all of a sudden it's like, damn, the Bills are beat up, and now we're beat up. And Marvin Mims, we thought he was hurt because he got injured on the opening kickoff, and all he does is make plays, man. That's just what he does. That catch in the corner was incredible. Legendary throw. Probably, in my opinion, up there with the greatest throws in Bo Nix's career. But if you look at all of the throws that Bo Nix has made, his elite throws, they usually go to Marvin. So Marvin Mims is my player, my first player shout out that I wanted to talk about today for sure.
Dude, that's a great one, man. His catch over the shoulder, that's a tough catch to make there in crunch time. And I mean, he has come up with some of those big time touchdown catches. I mean, he had that one last year against the Bengals. Kodiak, you can probably name some other big time clutch catches he's had for us.
The one versus the Browns, that 98-yarder.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I mean, think about how hard the concentration. But what's crazy is Sean Payton was talking about, I guess he cooked Pat Surtain on that same route in practice, in the joint practice that they had, actually, the first one on Friday before. And they were like, oh, damn, like we got to put that back in. I mean, if he's beating Pat Surtain, he's going to be able to beat anybody on that route. So they installed it from that, and they end up pulling it out in the most important time of the game. So you got to love it, man.
All right, Kodiak, who do you want to shout out, or a moment you want to shout out?
I guess I do want to shout out This guy basically got bullied out of his starting spot by Broncos country after the game. And while I know that after the game last year, and while I know it wasn't specific to just that game, he played really terribly in that game. I know we were all pretty stoked that we signed Hufanga to replace him in the offseason. But man, PJ Locke, okay. Well, I know as a collective effort, the defense, we can get into it. I imagine a lot of us probably aren't too happy besides all the turnovers. PJ Locke came in and made a pick that was pretty much identical to the one that Abram Strain had last year on Herbert. I literally had deja vu watching that. I was literally like, oh my God, where have I seen that before? And ultimately, PJ Locke, he came out and he made plays. I talked with Mark afterwards, and he basically said that, it's like they heard all the slander towards the guys who get shat on the most in Broncos country, like PJ Locke and Alex Singleton. And while those guys definitely had their moments of, the fan base being mad at them, Alex Singleton completely changed the tide of the game with that hit on James Cook. So I guess that's another shout out right there that jarred the ball loose, because Buffalo goes up 14-3 there. It's a really tall task to come back. But no, that pick to limit the damage after Bo's pick by PJ Locke was absolutely incredible. So want to give a huge shout out to him, and shout out to him for filling in for Jones, man. I thought we were absolutely cooked at the safety spot once Jones went down, but he's filled in very admirably.
Facts. Jeremy, I have an idea where you want to go to with this one, but take it away.
I'm going to get there one way or the other. Sorry, I was suffering with the cold, and then I yelled my head off, so my voice has seen better days. But I just want to say, like, this game, have you ever seen one of those slap fight competitions where the person's just, like, standing right there putting their chin out, and then the other person's just, wow, and who's going to get knocked out first? That's what this felt like. And then we got slapped one more time after the game was over. One for just for fun, extra. But I mean, that was a roller coaster of just, oh my gosh, here we go. And then now they come back and here we go. But you know what? Any non-believers, any doubters, anybody who was out there, national media, we know here and locally in Denver, we all are pretty much on board at this point. But like, Bo Nix just silenced all the critics. Pat Bryant goes down, like Mark said. Troy Franklin goes down. You're down. You end up going down 4 in the fourth quarter. You need to make a drive. He's hitting Cortland Sutton on third downs. He's running for third downs. And then the Marvin Mims just absolute dime to go ahead. And then in overtime, I thought it was going to come down what we talked about last week. No drops. Hold on to the football. Hold on to the football. And Cortland Sutton, here we go again. 2 drops. First down, third down. And it was like, please do not let it come down to that. Please do not let it come to that. Jaquan McMillan saves the day, makes a tremendous play. This is also like what the beleaguered have had all season long. Like Kodiak touched on a couple of them. They got their due. Locke makes a huge play. We talked about him. And what a big momentum breaker that was, because Bo had just turned it over. And if they get that, people could start to be like, oh no, here we go. And he just completely flipped it back. The McMillan play, but Alex Singleton as well to start it off, dude. We've been talking about he's not the guy. We got to get an astronaut, and he's the guy. James Cook comes out. He's looking like a world beater, and Alex Singleton said, not today. And that just completely flipped the momentum as well. So it was a slap fight, and we got slapped last, but we also knocked them out first. So well, that ends well. Like, I didn't care how we won, but man, that was an absolute classic. That's all I have to say. Absolute classic of a game.
Well said, man. I got to piggyback on it, man. I was so excited for this Buffalo game all last week because we knew that this would be a legacy-defining game for Bo Nix, that it was the opportunity for Bo Nix to rewrite the narrative with the casuals that have just watched his, so-so Thursday night performances, right? And that's exactly what he did, man. He went out and destroyed Josh Allen head-to-head, man. Just destroyed. I think people were thinking Bo Nix was going to play how Josh Allen played and vice versa, man. To show the poise and to have the moment that he had in that late in the fourth quarter, driving us to take the lead again. That's the stuff made from a franchise quarterback, man. I think the one thing that we just didn't know is Bo going to continue to elevate his game in the playoffs? And we saw him do that, man. So to me, he checks every box that you want out of a franchise quarterback. And I mean, just look at some of the other quarterbacks around. I'm still bullish on Caleb Williams, but rough game, man. Outside of a few throws, man, he had some rough moments against the Rams, man. The CJ Stroud, dude, is this guy even a starting quarterback?
Oh, that was
the memes are unbelievable all weekend, man.
Yeah, would you rather have JJ McCarthy or CJ Stroud? I don't know. I might go with McCarthy there, but yeah, Bo Nix, Andy, who is a real critic of NFL quarterbacks, he says, I can confidently say that Bo Nix is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And no doubt he is, especially. Like, you cannot deny it. After that performance against the number one pass defense in the NFL, down two of his main weapons.
And no run game.
Dude, no run game, man.
He was a leading rusher.
Yeah.
Dude, and these Buffalo Bills fans, man, they had no idea what to do with themselves, man. Absolutely. They could not compute in their brain that Bo Nix outplayed Josh Allen. They want to blame the refs. They want to blame the refs, and I know we'll get to that, but man, Bo Nix, I'm so happy for you. I'm also devastated for you because if we don't get it done this year and win the Super Bowl, 2025 is always going to be known as the season that we would have won the Super Bowl had Bo Nix stayed healthy. I believe it after that game, man.
Well, hopefully it's the year that Bo carried us to the AFC Championship and Stiddy got it done. We wouldn't have won the 2015. It's just so weird how this season is so similar to 2015, and then it's keeping going on. Like, we needed Brock Osweiler to come in and steady us during that season. We don't win a championship without him, and now we have to do the same thing with Stiddy. So it's just so weird.
Yeah, usually I'm the guy that keeps things rather modern around here, but I did think this was worth mentioning. Man, we always do this, okay? If Brock Osweiler can do this, and not only Brock Osweiler, but if Bubby Brister can come in and do this all the way back in the late 90s, why can't Jarrett Stidham, okay? This is just within our roots, all right?
Yeah,
that's a wonderful point, man.
That's right.
About Bubby. There are a few other shout-outs I'd like to get to, but let's continue this, Mark. What's something else that you want to hit on that we haven't hit on with this big time victory?
Oh man, your boy David, the franchise punter. I mean, listen, we talked about this, all right, and I think I'm gonna go there today, David. I really do. And how many times we punted this year? A lot more than I think any of us wanted to. By far, in a way, the best punt that Jeremy Crawshaw ever had in his Broncos career so far happened to be the one in overtime that goes 65 yards, I think it was. Let me just double check that. 65-yarder out of bounds at like the 4-yard line or something like that. Unbelievable
Beautiful
punt. Franchise punter. And I'll say it, man. He was worth the 6th round pick. All right. I've seen enough.
I wish I had a sound effect to hit like a celebration or something.
I thought it was gonna take like a fake punt, Jeremy Crawshaw throw for a touchdown in the playoffs that could do it. But no, that was nails. And then another guy I want to shout out is Sam Mustipher.
Dude, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. Talk about
shout out.
You talk about injuries. Alex Forsythe goes down. We're already on a backup tackle. I didn't even notice. To be honest with you, I thought that Alex Forsythe came back in the game. I thought he only missed a couple drives or a drive. No idea that Sam Mustipher was in the game, and that's a really good sign. Communication was great still, for the most part. I mean, they didn't have any false starts, pre-snap penalties, maybe some blitz call-outs, whatever. But, man, just awesome that, we just brought this guy back a couple weeks ago, and he's in there playing and doesn't miss a beat. So shout out to Sam Mustipher as well on that. The list of the players of the game is it could be endless. It really can be.
Honestly, with Sam Mustipher, though, I don't know if you noticed this, Kodiak. I mean, rarely do you see offensive linemen get grades in run blocking in the 70s, man. Sam Mustipher got like a 71.3, I want to say, on his 15 or 20 snaps he had filling in for Alex Forsythe, man. He was a menace out there. I'll need to go back and watch it, but I have all the confidence in him if he starts this game. I do think he can get it done. So wonderful shout out there. Very rarely do you have a third string center come in and just business as usual. Mm-hmm. So that was great.
I got one more. So I don't remember who said it last week, but somebody said Sean Payton's going to pull up a trick play and it's going to work. And I joked that, are we going back to Garrett Bowles for a touchdown? Well, it was Frank Crum. Man, what a beautiful freaking call that was. And Frank Crum, dude, like great hands and then protecting the football as the guy's trying to hit it right out. Like light on his feet for a big man, dude. But that was just such a beautiful.
Did you hear about how that call came to fruition?
No.
You guys didn't hear the story?
No.
I don't think so.
This is actually insane. I heard it on the radio today. And he talked about it, I guess, in the presser on Sunday or something. So you know how we had Johnny Morton come and consult for us?
Yeah.
He talked about it. He said, man, we used to run this play with Dan Skipper, and we ran this exact play in Detroit against Buffalo in one of the games. Dan Skipper scored. He's like, dude, he brought up this idea that like they play a lot of man, and I think that you guys can get it done, especially with, athletic linemen. And he was thinking maybe Bowles. Mm-hmm. And so they went back and looked at it, and they said, if we get this man coverage call, we're going to call it to Frank Crum. And he got the idea from Johnny Morton, of all people. This week,
the guy that we just crap on every single time we can.
Yeah, it's insane. And the design of it was beautiful. Sorry, Jeremy, go ahead if you want to talk more about it. But
no. Keep going.
It was a beautiful play design.
Yeah, just like I just love the fact that that tells you everything about Sean Payton right there. Sean Payton's he everybody sees goes the smartest man in the world. Just ask him all the ego stuff, but it's like he's willing to take somebody's like suggestion and go, damn, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that. The same thing with the Marvin Mims play that, put us up 30-27. It was a play that, like you said, Mims had run in a joint practice against PS2 and was like, I got to save that. And then it got brought up and he's just like, I will kick myself if this game ends and I don't call that. Right. So like Sean Payton, for all the stuff we give him about like, you do this too much, you do that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, his finger was on the pulse of that game. The little Jordan Humphrey touchdown call was a chef's kiss of a moment of like literally Tony Romo's like, I always felt like you could get the certain play if in this certain situation, if the guy's going back, and then like we do it on the spot. It almost felt like it was scripted. And it was like, Sean Payton just was on that. And
we're going to need him with Lil Jordan Humphrey, man.
I mean, he giveth and he taketh away, or he took it away, it will drop early, and then he comes back and rewards us. But it's like, of course you had to do that.
It wasn't the plan. It was probably the plan to have Pat Bryant do it, but they ran out of options, or maybe Franklin, so they're like, screw it. But
now, man, Kodiak, we haven't brought this up yet. I need you to talk about it. I don't know if you're going this direction, but dude, Jaquan McMillan coming up. Maybe we just get to it right now. This was going to be a topic of discussion. McMillan, hero of the game. What was the stadium like? What was going through your mind when you saw that throw? And it's looking like the game is over.
So initially, I just thought it was incomplete. I couldn't see very well, like on the other side of the field. I think the initial reaction was that it was incomplete rather than anything else. I didn't hear, like, trust me, I was in the stadium when the Raheem Moore thing happened. I know what that sounds like, okay? I know what that sounds like for 76,000 people. I didn't get that same thing, although I was a little, like, zoned out for, like, 2 to 3 seconds. I was like, wait a minute, that looks like incomplete. And then I see the ref signal Broncos ball, and the stadium just explodes. And obviously, I didn't think there was much of a debate, honestly. I saw it on the instant replay. I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't feel like I don't really know how you could call that a catch, or whatever. But then I log on to Twitter after the game in the parking lot, and then I just see people just going absolutely apeshit about that. But yeah, no. But to answer your question, once again, I know what despair sounds like to 76,000 people, and it wasn't that vibe in the stadium. It was all right. Well, let's see. Oh shit, Broncos ball. Let's go. That was the vibe I got from all the other people around me, and shout out to us for capitalizing on that mistake. It's one thing to have them make a mistake like that, and for Jaquan McMillan to make an amazing play to pick it off, but it's another thing to capitalize on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jeremy,
Yeah.
I know you got something to say about this.
Oh, well, can you highlight the last comment that just came in from East Coast Bronco? It says it all. I mean, I brought like a visual aid to help us understand what a catch is to this show tonight, because it was been driving me up the wall listening to all this whining about like he was down. Like, guys, what are we doing? You have to catch the ball and survive it. He's not a runner. He's jumping up and he never even has it. He kind of has it pinned for a second. So I hated the whole, like, we can never just win clean. They always have to come up with some sort of, the ref screwed us, blah, 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 blah. It was like, no one in a million years, like, that is not, I don't like it. So, David, can we roll this clip?
Dude, let's roll this clip. Let's see how it goes.
Let me set this up real quick. This is the play before, the exact play before the Jaquan McMillan interception. Okay. 2nd and 10 in OT. Josh Allen has the ball. Go ahead.
Right. I got to pause every few seconds for copyright. So
I slowed it down too. So Allen's dropping back.
Here's that play-by-play, Jeremy.
Here we go. He's looking for McCole Hardman.
Bad throw.
And this, if he catches this, by the way, they're in field goal range, as you can see the target line. So this is a humongous drop that nobody's talking about. But hits McCole Hardman. Doesn't hit the ground. McCole Hardman pulls up, catches the football. And then what happens? Oh, the ball pops out, doesn't survive the ground. Does anybody, have you heard one person being like, that should have been a catch? That should have been this? No, we all know that's incompletion. Nobody, he jogs back. It never hits the ground, but he doesn't survive it. He catch, pulls up, elbows down.
These are the screenshots I see right here. Yeah. They're like, this would be a catch.
Right, exactly. And I even froze it. So later, doesn't survive the ground. Keep playing it. You're good.
I mean, if we go based on what Buffalo fans were saying about the Cooks thing, should he be down by contact since he technically was down giving himself up when he what's it called? Like,
look at
like right here. Do you not see him give himself up because he's diving towards the ground?
Keep playing it, David, because I paused it on the video.
Oh, okay.
Right there, it is down by contact, right? Like you just said, Kodiak. Keep playing.
Oh yeah, I got it slowed on my end too. So hold on.
No, you're good. Then there you go. Pops out. And they jog back. Nobody cares. Nobody remembers this. Whatever, right?
No.
So the next play, the literally exact same thing happens. He gets his hand on it, hits the ground, pops out. Luckily, it doesn't hit the ground. The ball doesn't. So it can't be an incompletion. It's a pick. Like, what are we arguing about? Nobody complained about that play. It's the exact same play. So I'm done with that. And it's so stupid. They all wanted to complain about the Tre'Davious White PI at first, and then they showed that other angle where he's completely just mugging.
Dude, it's
Mims.
It was obvious.
Well, you can't argue with that.
Dude, you have to call that, or that's as bad as the no call that happened against the Saints and the Vikings years ago. If that's a no call, man. Because, I mean, he straight up tackled Marvin Mims before the ball even got there, man. So, yeah.
And as Bronco fans, we can be complaining that they didn't call the safety because DJ Jones is completely getting molested like in front of Josh Allen while he's in the end zone. And if we win that way, Bo Nix is healthy and we're good to go next week. So yeah, if anybody can be complaining about stuff, it should be us. But whatever, you guys.
Dude, Buffalo just loves to make all these excuses. It's never their fault. It's always the overtime rules. It's always how they spot the ball. With us, I guess, strangely, it's the refs. It's like, dude, do you know who you're coaching against? It's Sean Payton, man. We never get a good whistle. We never get a good whistle, man. So to see McDermott get up there and just say they lost because the refs, man, whatever. I was happy he got fired, to be honest. After that, dude, I hate whiners like that.
Yeah, shout out to Josh Allen because he went to the podium. He was like, I turned the football over 5 times. We didn't deserve to win that game or whatever. He was like, I let the team down. But also a guy on the Bills that I have a lot of respect for is Spencer Brown because he was like, yeah, things like that happen. I don't know if you guys saw what he said. He's the right tackle. He said, guys, I absolutely held the shit out of Cooper on that 3rd and 10 that potentially could have knocked us out of field goal range. So, they were letting us play all day long. It wasn't our fault. So mad respect to Spencer Brown. I do got to shout him out for, being a good sport about the whole thing. And shout out Josh Allen too. But yeah, no, McDermott definitely got fired after that. He's like, I'm standing up for Buffalo. Like, okay, bro, you're standing up for a fan base that, is trying to use every little screenshot in the book to prove that it was a catch. All right. So you're standing up for Buffalo. It would have been cool to have seen your defense stand up to Bo on that final drive, right? Because ultimately, that's what did you in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the subtext on Sean McDermott was, please don't fire me, please don't fire me, please don't fire me.
Yeah,
that's what he was
doing. It was the greatest blessing for the Buffalo Bills fans, for Bills Mafia out there. That loss for you guys. You've endured a lot of them, I'm sure. Getting Sean McDermott, it's like 3 years too late. That's the best thing that could have happened to you guys. The fact that a coach would ignore the fact that his team turned the ball over 5 times. 5 turnovers, dude. 5. It's insane. And then have the audacity to say the refs got the call wrong and not even address anything else that happened. He's a terrible coach. I've heard from some people that know in league sources that heard online that said he's an awful person as well. And it's probably going to be Brian Daboll that's coming back to Buffalo.
I like that.
He loves him. Josh Allen loves him. And Daboll and McDermott hated each other. Biggest blessing in disguise. I have so much respect for Bills Mafia for the most part. There were definitely crybabies after this one. In fact, my brother and this guy almost got into a fight. This guy wanted to fight my brother. And I found out later he wasn't even a Bills fan. He just bet money on the Bills because my brother was trying to tell him that it wasn't a catch. And then I had to kind of step in between and really explain to him why he's stupid. And it absolutely wasn't a catch. And it got pretty crazy. And then when I found that he wasn't a part of like an actual Bills fan, I was like, all right, that's fine. It's different. But yeah, it's insane. And everybody on Twitter was like, if the roles were flipped, you would have been complaining about the same thing. And I swear on everything that I love, if we turned the ball over 5 times, I would not have said a fucking peep. Not a peep about that. Not a peep. No chance in hell. Especially because it was clearly not a catch. It was absolutely an interception. Worst case, it's an incomplete pass. And you go anyways. And then they started complaining about the pass interference call, forgetting that it was also roughing the passer on the exact same penalty. So, okay, take that one away. It's still 15 yards. Dude, it's crazy, man.
How was it a catch for the Rams game? The guy held on to the ball.
Yeah.
And he had already established it.
He made a move. He's a runner now.
Yeah, he's a runner.
Mean? And also like the one time the Broncos finally get a well-refed game, a nice evenly refed game, and I loved how they did it across the league, honestly. It was really good. Shout out to the NFL for that. It's like we don't stop hearing about it. And it's like, okay, all right, whatever. It is what it is. Yeah. That's my rant for the day.
One more thing about McDermott. Isn't it funny how he is a defensive-minded coach, yet they had 13 seconds, yet they had the overtime game where they just lost because their defense couldn't stop us? Isn't it funny that they couldn't stop KC last year in the AFC Championship? Isn't it funny that this defensive coach, who wants to go to the podium and say that, I'm standing up for Buffalo, wouldn't it be funny if your defense actually went out there and did their job and didn't sell your generational quarterback, who's one of the greatest touchdown scorers of all time? Like, you are the reason this guy does not have a ring. So if you're going to stand up for Buffalo, maybe stand up for your quarterback on the field, dude.
Well said, man. Tantalus saying a Bills friend of mine invited me to a Bills backers bar to watch the game. Start of the game, they were friendly, but by the end, I was getting flipped off and yelled at. Lost a lot of respect for Bills fans, man. I mean, it's just heartbreak season for Bills fans. Like January is the worst month for Bills fans. We all know that, man. Terrible.
Well, here's what's crazy. We all, for the most part, like if the Broncos would have lost to the Bills, we'd all be wanting the Bills to win the Super Bowl. Like, because of all of like the goodwill, like we want Josh Allen. He's a great guy. We like his wife, all this stuff, right? They can't shut up now. And it's like, okay, screw y'all. Like, I'm done with that. Like, I wanted you guys for so long. And the level of, it'd be fine if you're whining about something legitimate, but just like this constant, like, you have nothing to whine about. Like, they got the call right, and you're still you can't be dealt with. Like, all right, fine. I'm done with it.
We're playing New England, bro. We need them on our side on this one. Why the hell would they not root for us?
Yeah, man. I don't know.
Yeah, they got to. They got to. I guess before we get to Jeremy's segment, any other last shout outs for this victory? I know we've done our own post game shows and stuff like that. Kodiak, is there anybody else that we're leaving out that you want to shout out?
I mean, you guys already kind of did touch on it. Shout out to the wide receiver room for just, being able to adapt, and shout out to the conditioning of Sutton and Lil Jordan and Marvin to, especially Marvin, to not only play on a kick return or whatever and punt return, but, make an impact in this receiving game. Because I guarantee the plan throughout the week was probably have him on the field for 15-20% of the offensive snaps, which that drives me nuts. Just so you know, there's no more excuses for us to not, deploy Marvin Mims in a bigger role. Like next year, we need to take that a little more serious. Okay. No more Troutmans, no more Prentices. All right. I'm done with that. If you're going to bring in all those guys that block on this offense and you're not going to run the ball, then it's not even worth it. Stylistically, we got to change some things on the offensive side of the ball. But once again, no excuses for Marvin Mims to not have a bigger role in this offense going forward. Okay. Like I said, I know Sean Payton goes to the podium at least 6 times a year and says, we're going to get Marvin more involved on the offensive side of the ball. And it took 2 injuries for Marvin Mims to finally get that consistent chance throughout the game. And yeah, overall, huge shout out to our wide receiver room. Yeah. Yes, I know Sutton dropped some in overtime. Yes, I know Lil Jordan had that pass go straight through his hands, but all's well ends well. Okay. We can criticize them as well, but also acknowledge the job they did.
If we're going to be missing Pat Bryant and Troy Franklin, y'all know what that means.
Oh, dude, I'm so confident A.T. Perry is going to get elevated this week. No, I really am, though. Like, ironically. Man. But it took a lot of injuries for that to happen, but he will for sure be available for this game.
It's the Stidham,
him and Stiddy, bro.
Steady Perry.
Him and Stiddy got some, they played with each other on a scout team a lot, so they've got some chemistry.
Yes. Well, shall we get to it as we turn the page, look ahead to the evil New England Patriots? It feels great to hate them again. By the way, they had such an easy game this past week. When you go against a quarterback that turns over the ball 5 times or whatever, 4 times in the first half, just bad energy all around from CJ Stroud. I mean, the Houston Texans, I'll say this, if they had Jarrett Stidham playing in that game, they're playing in Denver this weekend, man. But CJ Stroud, man, he sold them. New England, they get to waltz into the AFC Championship, and it feels good to be hating them again. But Jeremy, let's get to it. Giddy up or hold your horses, or we got a new name for it this week.
Yeah, we got. Well, I'm just gonna, if we're looking ahead, like. Last week's Giddy Up or Hold Your Horses, I asked certain questions, and I'm going to ask the exact same question that I did last week to Kodiak. This game is going to come down to the legs of Bo Nix, which means the leg is broken now, and Jarrett Stidham is in. Is it going to come down to Jarrett Stidham?
Yeah. I just don't see why it wouldn't. Okay. The reason I think that, we're going to be relying on him to win this game for us is because, honestly, ever since the bye, haven't really been too thrilled with the defense. I know they got all those turnovers last week, but I was hoping we drew the Texans because I felt like their quarterback would actively give us points. All right. I was like, whatever, we can win like a 10-7 rock fight against them if we have to. But, we're going to have to play a shootout against Drake May. We're going to have to play a shootout against the New England Patriots because honestly, I just don't have a lot of faith in this defense to stop the New England Patriots just based on what's transpired on the defensive side of the ball. Not saying it can't happen. Crazier things have happened. We know what they're capable of. But Vance Joseph I think his mind is somewhere else other than Broncos country right now. That being said, he has looked very, very flustered against two very strong fronts, rushing the passer in the Chargers and the Texans. And I guess you were pretty lucky that you were going up against two of the NFL's most battered offensive lines because nobody remembers how Drake May looked during that game. Yep. But I think, if you could get after May, then that's fantastic. But I think it's going to be a shootout. I really do. And I think that we're going to be relying on our offense to carry the load in this game. I know that's basically been the way that's been the past 2 months ever since the bye. So that's why I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I don't know what the over under is. I think it's like 40 last time I checked.
41 and a half.
Yeah, I'm hammering the over. Like, I'm sorry. It's going to be 27, 26, like 29, 20. 7, something like that. Like, that's how I think we're going to win this game. That's my vision for the game. Sean always talks about in the game planning, what's the vision for this game? I'm thinking fireworks on the offensive side of the ball.
I love it. Sticking with the same theme, let's go. I'm going to go to Mark here. Who has more pressure on them, Jarrett Stidham or Drake May?
Oh, Drake May, easily. And he will have a lot more pressure on him. Significantly more. I kind of feel a little bit differently about this game than Kodiak. I think it's going to be a scrappy dogfight of a game, and that's the exact kind of game you need to have New England in because they have not had one of those all year. They've never played in an environment like this. They've never really had a super tight, close game where things might not be going well and they got to figure out a way to win. That's how the Broncos have done it all year. I think that's going to give them the best chance. I think with Stiddy, man, he's like, here's the thing. He's just got to go out there and do exactly what he knows that he can do. Like, one thing you always will see with backup quarterbacks, especially good ones, is that the offense will look like it's in rhythm. Things will be kind of working pretty decently. It's not going to always be like flashy. He might not extend the plays and make the throws that Bo does, but I think that he'll be able to be solid overall for us. But man, a lot more pressure on Drake May, in my opinion, on this one. I mean, they're heavy favorites going on the road. He obviously feels like he should win this game because it's not him against Bo Nix, it's him against a backup quarterback. And he's got a fumbling problem, man. That's the only criticism I probably have of Drake May's game. I'm a big Drake May fan. He was my number one quarterback coming out of the draft. Is he fumbles the ball a lot. And you'll have the opportunities to force fumbles. You'll be able to get some pressure on him, make things a little bit difficult on him. So I think easily Drake May's got the most pressure this week.
Can you highlight that comment from I Am the 99th again, please? Yes. No disrespect, just got here. The Pats just won 2 dogfights, my guy. The Pats didn't win that dogfight. CJ Stroud lost that dogfight.
Yeah, that wasn't a dogfight, dude. Not even close. And then if you're gonna say the Chargers scoring 3 points,
the Chargers really
3 points is a dogfight, then maybe it's like a dogfight. Like, I have a little ass dog. He's like a little rat terrier. That's the kind of fight that it is. It's a small little dog that will just lick you. It ain't no dogfight.
Dude, I'll say this week with Jarrett Stidham, they're going to get the best opponent quarterback play they've gotten all playoffs long, man. Herbert was a disaster. Stroud was a disaster. They haven't been hit in the mouth from an offense.
Yeah. And Jose Life on Mars says
40% of his passes or like something like that, 212 yards, 4 picks.
Yeah. Another comment saying,
crazily enough, he had a better QBR than Drake May, which is still crazy. I mean, I don't get this whole QBR thing. But,
yeah. Well, it's because May fumbled like 6 times. But the Pats didn't just beat the best defense. Okay. The Pats, CJ Stroud just beat the best defense. All right. CJ Stroud just actively lost that game for him. And I know a lot of Patriots fans who are just like, where are the scheduled naysayers at now? I'm just like, dude, did we watch the same CJ Stroud yesterday? You're not beating any of these allegations.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's
okay,
pretty
if I have to stick up slightly for Pat's like nation or whatever they call themselves, I have no idea.
They're just Chiefs fans that have now rebranded again.
Oh yeah, that's probably true. Lakers, Yankees fans.
Yeah.
Like I feel for you guys for like you haven't got the respect because they have said that you guys haven't had a tough schedule and all that, and you wanted to prove yourself, and it was scheduled to be a dogfight. It didn't end up being that, but that's what people were like titling it as, and it didn't end up being that. And dude, your defense played out like they did that, but you also can't admit CJ Stroud crapped the bed. Like I don't even know. He like before half, people were like, he should not be even on the field. Like this is how bad it looks. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna get your chance. I mean, it kind of sucks for the Pats a little bit because it's like if they win this week, everybody's gonna say, "Well, yeah, you had to play a backup." Blah blah blah
Right.
blah. But as a Broncos fan who also feels like they've got disrespected all season long, like just embrace, dude. Just embrace it, and it'll all settle itself. But that leads me to David's question, and this is a weird, like swirling of just 10 years ago, Super Bowl 50 season, all of the same stuff was happening. It comes down to the Broncos versus the Patriots at Mile High. It comes down to the Broncos and the Patriots having to play with the Broncos backup quarterback in a big game that season as well. It also comes back to what team drafted Jarrett Stidham, the Patriots, what coach like brought Stidham to the Raiders, Josh McDaniels. Like there's just so much in this game that is like weird connections, right? So my basic question is history going to repeat itself once again with a Broncos Super Bowl appearance against by beating the New England Patriots?
Yes.
That
Yes.
would be amazing.
I believe we
That
can
would be
get it
amazing.
done. We're at home. We do not lose at home. And I think even though our defense has been barbecue chicken, it has been absolute buns the past like month or so, month and a half. I think we're going to get a fantastic effort. Why? Vance Joseph can't interview this week, baby. He's going to be putting together a good game plan and knows that he probably got the Arizona Cardinals job if they can just have one more strong performance, right? You'd like to think that. So, yeah, the Patriots, they got to come in here. And yes, like they got all the pressure on them. They're 5.5-point road favorites coming into this game. We still got pretty much everybody healthy on defense minus Brandon Jones. Okay. I know New England's offensive line. I mean, it's not as big as the Buffalo Bills, although they do run the ball very, very well. So again, I'm not saying this is going to be a cakewalk. I think that this is going to be another close game. And one of the reasons I also believe that this will be a Broncos victory is because I also believe J.K. Dobbins is going to play in this game. And that is huge. He was our offensive MVP for the first 10 weeks. So we get him back. That's a guy that Sean Payton trusts to run the rock. Okay. Then RJ will kind of be more in the role, I think, in which he can really excel at. We'll see what happens with the wide receivers, who's healthy, who's not, but I'm not even really too concerned about that. The one thing with Sean Payton, the one big question mark is he going to call what we saw mainly with Russell Wilson here on the offense? It's going to be this little Mickey Mouse offense, man. It's going to be scared, conservative offense. You can barely watch it type of thing where you're just thrown to the flats and that's it. Or is he going to stand on what he said on Saturday that I think I got a 2 that could be a starter in this league for like a number of teams and call an aggressive game plan in which he's testing New England secondary downfield, man. They got a great deal of talent in the secondary, but you got to test it. You got to have an aggressive game plan to win this game. And I think Sean Payton, even though it might have not been advantageous for him to come out and say from like a game planning perspective, whatever, on Saturday night that Bo Nix is out, I think it instills the confidence in Stidham, man, to be that guy. So, yes, we can win because we're at home. We do have a talented defense. Jared Stidham, been in the offense for 3 years. He knows all the play calls. We don't need to dumb down the offense at all for him. He might know the offense better than Bo Nix does. Right? So you can have all the play calls, and you're getting JK back. I believe.
Yeah, there's never been a Broncos Super Bowl champion season where we didn't have to rely on our backup quarterback. And
was it 97?
if it's going to happen again,
did we have to have a backup in 97?
I think we did for like one game. I know in 98 we needed Bubby Brister for like 4 games. So
oh yeah, it was a month.
But 97 was maybe I wanted to say like Elway was out for a game, but if that was the only one, then that was the only one. But like the last 2 for sure. And again, it's just there's been so many things. If you follow this team, there's been so many weird signs this year that just gives you all these like, that's weird that happened. That's weird that this is happening exactly like 2015. Just so many things to get us to this moment that it's like, I can't imagine it just going down the way it's like everybody like would just assume, oh, you're starting quarterbacks out, your guys are done, right? Like that's what it would seem. But it just, something in my gut tells me that's not what's gonna be. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's just it doesn't feel like that to me. So
yeah,
we shall see.
We had Bubby, we had Brock in the Super Bowl 50 run.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, and all you gotta do is just win this game to get the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, like this team's gonna play like extra inspired for Bo too. Like, can you imagine seeing your guy go out there who's been like talked bad about all year and then deliver you that win in the clutch again, and then for it to go down like that? Like his wife posted a picture that she took today right after the game, and he's sitting there still in his uniform with his leg out, no shoe on, and all of the guys are dressed. Jarrett Stidham's dressed, Sam Ellinger's dressed, Davis Webb's over there. They're all sitting around him, just hanging out with him. Thank you. That's it. And his dad's right there. This team, it loves Bo Nix, and you can't tell me they're not going to just win it for him or give everything they got for him. They might not win, but I mean, they're going to go out full clips unloaded, right? So I love listening to Aqib Talib. He was the special speaker before the game, and he talked about max effort plays, and that's what you're going to have to need, but that's what you got. That's why you won that game. That's what Jaquan McMillan delivered to you, was a max effort play, never give up. And so that's what it's going to take. So
and
I don't know. I just
guys
feel
don't think that you don't think this defense, man, has heard all week about, oh, New England just played the best defense in the NFL and they scored 28 points on them, and the best defense. I mean, it's like that's going to be really good motivation. I'm not as down on this defense as a lot of people are. When I kind of went back and watched the game after with a sound mind and not my crazy brain of watching it, you know what and I could be wrong, but I feel like the game plan was, we don't really care if they beat us with the run. Do not let Josh Allen beat you in the air. And in a really crazy way, it worked because we got 5 turnovers, right? One of them was a fumble with the running back. The other 4 were interceptions on Josh Allen. And love it or hate it, it worked. And the reason I believe that is because we kept having light boxes the entire game. We didn't care. We were going to go light. We were going to play our base defense, and we were just going to cover the dudes man to man and say, if you guys want to run the ball and beat us, we can take that. We trust that we'll stop you in the red zone, and hopefully we can force Josh Allen into making some mistakes, which is a really risky game plan because before this game, he really didn't make mistakes in the playoffs.
No.
But it worked. We got some good red zone stops, big-time red zone stops, especially the one in the fourth quarter to make him go up 4 instead of potentially 8. And we kept getting turnovers. It worked. So it worked out. So I think that I think Vance is going to have something cooked up. But this defense is going to go out there and they're going to play their ass off, man.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they know that game didn't go the way they wanted to. And yeah, the turnovers is what saved us on that. But like, they know, they saw what James Cook was doing to him and all that early. And I think they want to show exactly why this defense has been rated so high all season long. And, in prime time, in the biggest moment, exactly what happened 10 years ago, right? It wasn't Peyton Manning was not Peyton Manning 10 years ago, right? It took the defense over and over and over having to make plays to do it. So it's going to come down to that to me. And Jarrett just needs to protect the football, make good decisions, get the ball out. And my biggest thing is Bo Nix. He covered so many sins of the offensive line that people completely glossed over, because there was so many times when there was a free runner in his face and Bo just could get out of it. And then they go, oh, the Broncos have the best offensive line because look how there's no sacks. It's like, there's no sacks because he gets out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They had zero sacks, and there was a lot of pressure last game.
Exactly. So Jarrett Stidham is going to need to be mobile, and he can do that too. He's a little more like pocket guy than Bo is like, I'm going to get out of the pocket. But if he plays smart and the defense on the other side, it's going to come down to the defense getting to Drake May and knocking the ball out again. Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper, those kind of guys are going to need to keep that up and jump on that football. And,
and Stingley, Pat Surtain is not Stingley, dude. By the way, Stephon Diggs and these guys, dude, they have not seen the best cornerback in the NFL yet. All right.
And I think Moss and PS2 have something to say after last week. Like Moss got beat, PS2 got beat on that one. I mean, it was a perfectly thrown football. Like there's not much he could have done, but those guys, I mean, everybody's gonna be chomping at the bit for the defense this week. So
just don't throw at Jaquan McMillan, man. Bad things happen when you throw at Jaquan.
Yeah,
that is the guy.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
And don't run at Alex Singleton. We learned that.
Yeah.
Even though teams have been doing that all year long.
All year.
He's been saving it. He
I
lulled them to sleep.
I feel like he's had his moments in the run game. I feel like overall in the run game, he's been really, really good. But that is one thing, man. They are going to throw a lot of passes to Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson out of the backfield on the linebackers.
Dude, their running backs are what worry me the most.
Me too.
Yeah.
Same.
That is a fact.
Because Ramondre Stevenson, for some reason, is slippery for a bigger guy like that. Like he always just breaks a tackle extra that you think he's not going to. And then we seem to deal worse with like the James Cook shifty kind of guy. And that's what Travion Henderson is. So you're going to have to stop the run and then stop the run again. And then on third, get him into third and longs, get that crowd noise behind him. Kodiak, rest your voice up, get that crowd noise going. And then Nick Bonito, Zach Allen, Jonathan Cooper, Jonah Ellis, Tillman, whoever's rushing the passer, get to him and make him uncomfortable and make it a very long Sunday for him.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to bring this up really quick because Jeremy, we haven't done your stiddy up or hold your horses.
Oh,
okay. All right. So I'm going to have you kind of answer too. This is courtesy of the chat. All right.
Perfect.
And you can answer these together. First one, hypothetically, if Stiddy balls out in the Jets call or another team, what's the asking price? Who wouldn't want a quarterback controversy after your backup wins the Super Bowl? Jeremy, I don't know how to put this in giddy up or Stiddy up, but answer this in a Stiddy up question. Like what happens if Stiddy balls out, man?
If Stiddy balls out, you got him under contract for another year, and I think Sean's the type of guy who's like, hey, where do you want to go? If he has multiple options and he gets the most he can get. And let's Jarrett deserves to get a chance to start.
Yes.
Not at the Jets. Not in New York.
Yeah, that would be cruel and unusual punishment. No offense, Eli.
I think if the Jets called Sean Payton to be like, listen, man, I'm going to save your career. We're not going to trade you.
Dude.
We're gonna
How about Miami? How about Cardinals?
Yeah, I was about to say, what about Arizona with Vance?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of options that could be. And Jarrett, honestly, like that's another thing that's weird about this season that I always felt was weird was like, Jarrett, we signed Jarrett to a good contract. We paid him extra so we can get him from the Raiders and keep him because we like him. But then also, Sam Ellinger has a chance to go to a 53 and declines mid-season and says, "No, I want to stay on the practice squad of the Broncos because I just love this team and I want to be there." Like, when do you ever hear that kind of thing, right? So, like, something's feels like I just hope that this is the springboard for Jarrett Stidham that he's patiently waited for and utterly deserves. And I hope that he has the 2 games of his life. Like, Jarrett, if you give me 2 good games, I'll never ask for anything from you ever again, my friend. Like, that's what I want. So, I'm hoping for him. I'm praying for him. So, like, yeah, I would love the opportunity to get Jarrett Stidham a starting gig. That's what I would want for him.
I think we could maybe get a 3rd or 4th round pick for him if he Now if he plays like a Super Bowl MVP, you might be able to get like a 2nd round pick for him.
Definitely, I think. I mean,
You know?
he's got
I don't think I would
years
trade
under
him
his
for more than like less than a 4th. How do you know if I would
No.
do 4th? I think
I
it'd have
agree
to
with
be
you.
a 3rd or less. Because I mean, they always say most important position in football is quarterback. Second most is backup quarterback, and especially given our history here,
That's
I want
right.
as
Yeah,
good
you
of
need
backups
it.
as possible.
But I don't see this kind of being like a Carson Wentz type of thing. Like if the Broncos were to win this game or whatever, is there a controversy? No, again, Jarrett's close to the end of his contract, right?
He's got another year, yeah.
Super tradable. Bo Nix still has 3 years left on his deal after this. Like it's just, and he's shown that he's a playoff performer. So I don't think even if the Broncos were to go on and win the Super Bowl, I wouldn't see there being a controversy. I would see Jarrett Stidham earning himself a starting spot, like you said, Jeremy, on another team.
Yeah, and you do have to realize Bo Nix broke his back last season and played through it because he's an absolute dog. And then yesterday he breaks, or 2 days ago, breaks his ankle and delivers the game-winning pass on it and doesn't even know it's broken till after. So, like, things happen, especially that's why we've been saying all year long when everybody's like, run Bo more, run Bo more. Well, now we're in the situation of what happens if you run Bo one too many times.
Yep.
So you always have to be aware of that. It's so unfortunate and it sucks, and I'm devastated for him. But like, Jarrett Stidham has been patiently waiting and been the best backup you could probably have because he's giving the scout teams, like you said, those looks and been beating those guys. I mean, you hear nothing but good things from Jarrett Stidham, and he keeps his mouth shut and just nothing but supportive. And I just hope beyond hope that he plays the way he's capable.
Yeah, one thing that was interesting is I rewatched the Sean Payton thing where he delivered the message that Bo Nix was not going to play for the rest of the year. And within, I think it was the 23-second mark, the first thing he says is Stiddy will be ready to go. Because could you have imagined the discourse, like, had he not announced that throughout the week? Oh, they should sign Tom Brady out of retirement. Oh, see if Peyton Manning's got something left in the tank. Sign, dick shit guy off dick shit practice squad, whoever.
I saw Cam Newton.
Yeah, literally. Sign Cam Newton.
The Tom Brady one's intriguing to play against the Patriots. Could you imagine get an 8th ring?
Yeah, that would be.
I mean, it'll never happen.
That'd be very intriguing. But I think what Mace said on Twitter was very encouraging, and same with Zach Byatt. I know that these guys are radio personalities, and they are ultimately Broncos fans too. But Stidham is far from like a scorned backup. Okay, he's not like some random 4th, 5th, or 6th round pick that you took in the last rookie draft and you were just like, all right, well, whatever, let's just see what we have in this guy. No, this guy's actually started before, okay? And one thing that really kind of sold me on him having a future in the NFL, maybe not as like starter status because more than one game sample sizes matter, was 2 years ago, New Year's Eve. I remember watching him play against the San Francisco 49ers, who ended up, that was their first year with McCaffrey. And that was the year they kind of just ran out of quarterbacks and got bounced by Philly in the AFC Championship game. But they were hot. I mean, Stidham was going toe to toe with Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan. That was a lost year for the Raiders. So, yeah, ultimately, that's the big thing there. And overall, Zach Bye said it, man. This guy is far from like a scoring backup. It's not like we're throwing Trey Lance out there. Had Buffalo magically moved on. and had Buffalo, had to start Trubisky or something, I think the vibes would have been a lot different for them than it is in Broncos country now. But you guys said it best, okay? He's been in this building for 3 years. He's been in this city for 3 years. Hell, he probably had an opportunity to go somewhere last March, and he probably chose to stay here. You guys remember what happened when he was just like, oh, I know I'm a backup in this league, and everybody absolutely flamed him. Well, guess what? 7 months later, he re-signed with us. He chose to stay with us for a reason. And next man up mentality in the NFL. Yeah. And the last thing I will say about this is if you guys have Spotify, you have to listen to Nick Foles' podcast. It's The Season with Nick Foles and Evan Moore. And he just basically gave Stidham all this advice. I hope to God Stidham calls Nick Foles at some point this upcoming week. I think if you're setting your expectations for him to be Nick Foles, you're kind of setting yourself up for disappointment. But, I think if you're Jarrett Stidham, you have to look at that. And Nick Foles, he tweeted out something in support of Jarrett Stidham. He was just like, guys, the Patriots, they have lost this game before. All right. Let's not say the Broncos are down and out just yet.
Yeah, they seem to struggle against backup quarterbacks in championship style games, I believe is what he said, which I mean, I know that's a funny tweet, but I like just him in support, like that's pretty cool, dude.
That's a good opportunity for him. I think what people are forgetting too, man, like the big X factor here is Sean Payton's history with backup quarterbacks. He won 5 in a row with Teddy Bridgewater. He made Jameis Winston look like an actual NFL quarterback and won a lot of games with Jameis before he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He won games with Taysom Hill, who's not even a quarterback, at quarterback. A lot of them. And I know this is much different. It's different circumstances, different scenarios. But, dude, Sean Payton knows what he's doing, and he knows Jarrett Stidham arguably better than any quarterback on this team. He knows exactly what he likes. He knows exactly what he's made out of. He sees him he listens to him in the quarterback meeting rooms every single week. So it's the smoothest transition that you could possibly ask for, given head coach's history, relationship with quarterbacks. It's not as bad as I think a lot of people want to, should make it out to be. I think it's going to look decent. It's going to look pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree.
I wanted to read this comment here from Quiet Money. It says, is it just me or did it seem like in preseason Stidham had more control of the offense than Bo? I know he doesn't have the physical attributes like Bo, but he did seem more in control. And I would agree with that, man. Like, he was 30 of 38 in preseason.
Dude, people wanted him to start.
There was a contingency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bo's a little inconsistent with his mechanics. Maybe we should just start Stiddy. So for all the Stiddy believers, man, you get your opportunity now. I'm real excited for it. Guys, we've been at this for a little over an hour. It's looking like the national championship just ended. Pretty good game. Yeah, looking like Miami just threw an interception on the final drive. So congratulations to the Hoosiers on taking care of it. But man, any other? I guess maybe we give some predictions with how this goes. Do you guys feel down for that? Want to do some score predictions? Who wants to go first?
I'll go, man. I got this as a classic Broncos frustrating game, but we stay in it. Make it muddy, make it tough. And I think we just find a way to win. I think the defense plays really well. I have the Broncos winning it again on the on the leg of Will Lutz as time expires. And I got it as a score of 16-13 Broncos. So we'll see. Beautiful. It'll probably change throughout the week because I'll dive into the Patriots, who are really, pretty fascinating team. How they kind of remind me of the Broncos last year, where we had a really, really good defense, but no one really knew a lot of the guys that are on our team. They seem to have a lot of those kind of guys, but 16-13 Broncos I have right now.
Wonderful. Kodiak?
One in the under. You go ahead, Kodiak. You do it.
Like I said, I think I already gave my score prediction. I think, it's going to be on this offense to carry the load, okay? You have an MVP quarterback on the other side, and until the defense really shows that they can be up to the test against a playoff caliber offense, I think it's still going to have to be our team carrying the load, as it has been since the bye week. And I think he's going to be ready, man. For all the people saying that the Patriots, they took down Herbert. They took down Stroud. Well, congratulations. You beat up on 2 very battered offensive lines, and you beat up on quarterbacks that were handing you the football. I'm kidding. I'm not going to go that far. I do think they deserve our respect, for getting to this point, because ultimately it wasn't supposed to be like that good of a year for them. I still think they are around 500 with their over-under. So shout out to New England for getting to this point as well. I do respect them a lot. I have a lot of friends up there in Connecticut. That all being said, I don't think they've seen an environment like they're going to have to face on Sunday in Denver, and I think this is going to be a shootout. I think that both offenses need to become are going to come ready. I think both offenses are going to be guns blazing. I think they're going to try to really pound Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson, but we're going to strike back. We're going to strike back in the name of. Should we give Stidham a nickname? No. You haven't earned a nickname yet, but we will. We'll give you one if you win this game. All right, 27-26.
I like it.
Love it.
Broncos.
I don't do score predictions because I don't want to jinx anything. I will be wrong again. I don't care if we win 2-0, 3-2, doesn't matter to me. 50-49. Just this team's identity we figured out halfway through was just find a way. And that's what we got to do for this week and hopefully 2 more games. Just find a way. It doesn't matter what quarterback you're on. It doesn't matter what receiver you're on. It doesn't matter what, running back you're on. It doesn't matter. Just figure it out. And that's what this team, that's what their superpower is. And I know they're going to give everything they have. I know that the line is going to be, Vegas is saying that they're going to be big underdogs at home. I mean, when have you ever heard of a number 1 seed be a double underdog the next 2 weeks? Like it's that probably has never happened before. So they're got to be fired up by that. So, I'm picking the Broncos, and I think, hopefully this, the Mile High City is Stiddy City for the next 3 weeks.
Dude, I love that. Stiddy City. Hold on. Let me, I forgot to shout out Kalshi. Hey, use the code DTB. Links in the description. Sign up over there. And you can make your prediction. But I thought I'd share this, man. Patriots, massive favorites right now.
I love it.
70%. Broncos 31. That, how does that doesn't add up to 100, but whatever. You can see I put down the Broncos 14 cents to win the AFC Championship like a few months ago. So we'll see how it goes. But man, I got the Broncos. I got the Broncos winning this game. I got Jarrett Stidham throwing a couple touchdowns. I got the Broncos winning this game. This might frustrate people. I got the Broncos winning this game 24-17, baby. I think they get it done. I think we get a fantastic performance out of our defense. And I think that is truly going to be the difference in this game. But plus J.K. Dobbins. I mean, that's how we're going to be scoring points because of J.K. Dobbins. So, Patrick asking, is this a Broncos channel?
Yeah, Corey Brooks just said 0 non-bias analysis. It's called Horsepower Hour. We're all wearing Broncos hats.
Man,
this is not
guys.
This is not the place for non-bias analysis. We will try to be as honest as we possibly can, but we're rooting for the Broncos. If you didn't notice,
the only time I try to actually be unbiased is if I'm like previewing the game. I try to say, okay, let's take a step back and like just look at the statistical facts. But that's once a week for 20 minutes.
Yeah, you can get all that nerd shit somewhere else, man. Here, dude, it's Stiddy City. We're playing for the Super Bowl to go to the Super Bowl. Patriots are 0-3 against us in AFC Championship games. Is that the stat? 0-4 against us in the playoffs? Something crazy like that?
Let's do it again.
So, which is wild.
Man, I'd be a lot more nervous if I were them, even with our backup quarterback, man. So, yeah. Broncos up 30.
How you going to game plan for Stiddy?
Say what?
You're gonna look at the preseason film. How you going?
Are you gonna look at his Raiders game from like 4 seasons ago, man? Like you can't.
You want to watch him absolutely torch and dust Arizona and San Francisco's backups or whatever. Finding out what they're gonna do conceptually on offense because of that. No, come on, man.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. You go Nick Wright for unbiased takes.
There you go.
That's right. But
best comment of the
you
night.
know, Patriots fans, you're gonna learn the name A.T. Perry after this game. I'll tell you that. Tell you that. Tell you they're not watching A.T. Perry film this week, preparing for this game. Tell you that.
Yeah, Corey Brooks says Hopium doesn't win games. Look, I'm not playing in the game, so it doesn't matter if I hope or not. Like, and what's beautiful about the game of football is it's a team sport, and I trust in all 53 of the guys on the Denver Broncos team. It's going to take maybe all 53 of those guys, and our defense is going to come as hard as you've ever seen, and our offense is going to be making plays for Bo and for Jarrett. And Sean is going to relish the opportunity to be the underdog again and to show the world exactly why he's known as being this coach that can coach people up and do that. Like, there's a part of Sean once he got over like the devastation for Bo that was like, I got something cooking. You just know how he is. He, like, the bigger the challenge this team has, it almost like doesn't play well unless it's got something on the line. That's who this team is.
That's right. We got a coach who drafts basketball players in the NFL draft. Okay. No other coach does that. He's got something up his sleeve, right? And hey, David, just shout you out from Bills Mafia. Go back a little bit, like halfway through. We break down everything about how Bills fans are sowing their feels. They're so wrong about everything, and you guys want to blame everything other than your quarterback for that loss that y'all had. Inexcusable, man.
Who cares?
So,
Who cares
yeah, man.
5 turnovers.
Shout out to the lovable losers, the Buffalo Bills, man. There are just some franchises that get it done, and there are some that just don't. And Buffalo is one of them. So, guys, any other last thoughts? Any Patriots fans in here? Good luck.
Yeah, looks like Corey.
Good luck.
We'll see how it all goes, man. Good luck.
Being sincere.
Good luck,
like, good luck. Like, I'm not trying to be like, I'm being genuine. Good luck, New England. I respect you guys quite a bit. And hey, I do like watching Drake May play football. We'll see what happens when you come to a power field. And you know what? One last thing, one last comment. I'm not panicked because Sean's not panicked, okay? David said that we have a head coach that drafts basketball players, okay? We have a head coach that, steals Vicodin from the team doctors or whatever. That's absolutely fantastic. But what else do we have? We have a coach who sincerely believes in this backup quarterback, okay? You saw it on his body language. You saw it in his eyes. You saw how much faith he had in Jarrett Stidham. Like I said, 20 minutes into the press conference, Bo broke his foot. Stiddy will be ready. And whenever he says we'll be ready or a player will be ready, I believe him and I trust him. He's given us no reason not to trust him. In Sean, we trust.
Oh, we forgot to say this. Why are the Patriots so dumb coming in on a Saturday, man? Do they just not care? Are they just going to smoke root beer vape before the game, thinking that they're going to be okay with the altitude?
If they've done it all year, you got to keep doing what you've been doing all year.
And I don't like
in my
that.
opinion.
I don't like that if I'm a Patriots fan. They're flying in on Saturday for a 2 p.m. game, right? Or is it 1 p.m.
The Bills
Mountain
did the same thing.
What? 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Mountain
1 p.m.
time?
I think the Bills did the same thing. I don't know. I mean, teams do it differently. If they've been doing it like that all year, then I absolutely would do that. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Dude, it's going to be a great game. Hopefully it's everything that we have sold you guys on for the last hour plus.
I hope so too. I hope so too.
And we get this dub, baby. So want to thank Jeremy, Mark, Kodiak for joining me. Guys, please go subscribe to them. All their links to their channels are in my description. They put out great content all week, all right? And they do post games, all that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We had some channel members out here, which was great. Of course, T-Fish is in here, man, with the question of the day. Really appreciate that. It was awesome. Bills fans, NFL fans. We had Seahawks fans, Rams fans in here, I think, man. Thank you all for tuning in. Yes, this is a Broncos-biased show, and we hope to see you all back next week to hopefully discuss the Broncos pulling off some miracle and getting to the Super Bowl, baby. We'll see you next time. Go Broncos.
Go Broncos, baby.
That's sacrifice. He's grabbed and he's going to be sacked.